Hello, this is Mike Lively, and we're on Chapter 2 of Professional Paper Vision, and today we're going to show you how to put Away3d into Flash Builder. And so here's a simple little Away3d project, and you just click on the background or on a mesh, and it will actually change color. There you go, and the torus changes color, and you actually can rotate a little hover camera here and just rotate things around. So we're going to bring this into Flash Builder, but before we do, let's talk about where we're at. So last time I gave you guys a list of things to look up and download, and I'm assuming you did that. And one of those on the list was Away3d. And we're starting now the next part of Chapter 2, and playing around with Away3d. We want to learn how to put it into Flash Builder. Now there's two ways to do that. You can create a Flex project, or you can do an ActionScript project. And we can show you how to do both. And specifically I'm going to concentrate on the Flex project, and you're probably wondering why, because there is a little bit of a performance hit when you work with the Flex project as opposed to just a pure ActionScript project. And all that has to do with my experience with working with coders and designers. And specifically, I end up working with designers. And I like designers. They're great people, especially if they come from a very rigorous design background, like a school such as the University of Cincinnati, and or Northern Kentucky, where I worked at both of those universities. And when I worked at the University of Cincinnati, I mostly worked with coders. And coders are really difficult to teach anything to. They think they know what they're doing. They may be new to Flash or Flex, and they try to program it like they do C++, and it doesn't work. So at Northern Kentucky University, I started hiring designers. And designers were great. I could not teach them enough, and especially those who had actually come from a rigorous background. One thing about a lot of designers from rigorous schools is they kind of sit between scientists and artists. They don't really know who they are. So you have the opportunities to sometimes mold them if they want to. If they want to learn the technology, if they're very interested, you can mold them into a good coder, but you have to make their coding interfaces graphical. And so I specifically concentrated on using the design view in Flash Builder. And you're going to see that today, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So that's the methodology behind what I'm doing. What that will do is accelerate production. Now, let me tell you what's wrong with 3D. And what's wrong with 3D is that both Paper Vision and Away3d is it just takes too long, and it's too complicated. There's got to be a way to speed up the process and make it faster. Otherwise, you spend so much time on something that may not perform well on the web anyway, and no one else can fix it if it breaks. So that's some of the modular approach I'm going to take, and reducing some of that by using graphical interfaces certainly does help. Now, what do you get out of Adobe Flash Builder? Well, you get some really cool stuff. You get a design view, of course, a data wizard, and some native 3D plus some powerful editing tools. So imagine in this series that you're just working with designers, and I was. So, and it's great if you can bring the information to them in the right presentation. So we're going to be in design view where we have all those native components. We're going to have native 3D plus Flash components and Flash Catalyst, and we're going to have that wonderful data wizard that you get with Flash Builder, with that auto binding and that drag and drop binding components. It's just wonderful. So that's where we're headed with all of this. So what you also need to do is review the essential keyboard shortcuts in Flash Builder on YouTube. That's at this URL right here. I will not even try to say that. Just read that off the screen and go right there, or just search my YouTube for it. It'll be essential to you in working with Flash Builder. What we're going to do here today is we're actually going to go to Away3d and bring it into Flash Builder. Just a few key points here is you're going to find those errors using the keyboard shortcuts. You're going to use the sprite visual element, because now we're not working with the raw child like we used to in Flex. We actually have a Spark component, which is called the sprite visual element, and we're going to add the child to the sprite visual element. You're also going to work with the system manager a little bit, as opposed to Flash we use the stage. In Flash Builder you can use the system manager, and we're going to do something a little different. We'll change the application just a little bit. We're going to add a text box to it, and whenever you click on it, it's going to tell you what you clicked on. And all this code you better get from the blog site and from my Google code. So that's where we're headed. Let's get started. So at this point, you should have gotten the Tortoise SVN or something for your Mac and downloaded the Paper Vision and the Away3d applications. Now, if you haven't done that, don't worry. You can go to my Google code and download the code I'm going to release today, and those applications will be in that. So what you should have found in the downloads basically are the Flash 10 for Away3d and the Flash 10 version for Paper Vision 3D. and these will be included in the downloads on my Google Code as well. We're specifically interested in Away3d, and we'll be dealing with paper vision next time. But I want to say something. You've really seen the development of paper vision slow down. When I've downloaded these two applications about 2 months ago, and for this presentation I decided to go ahead and update it today. And when I updated it, over a 2-month period you expect lots of changes, and I only saw about 4 changes to paper vision. But when I downloaded Away3d, I found that there were over 2,000 changes. So Away3d is really continuing in its development, but you see that paper vision has slowed down. And a lot of that has to do with some of the wackiness that's going on in the community. But also, Ralph Howard left the paper vision team, and he was one of the major developers. Certainly, Ralph had actually put together paper vision 2, and everyone was kind of riding on Ralph's wave. So let's open up Away3d, and let's take a look at Away3d Lite. Now, why I'm interested in Away3d Lite is because it actually has been updated completely to fit the Flash ActionScript 3 Flash 10 player. So it's been updated completely. It's a great piece of software. It is limited, however, in its functionality. So I'm in the Away3d Lite folder, and inside that folder I'm finding 2 folders, Away3d Lite and Net. And I'm going to want both of those to be in my SRC folder in Flash Builder. So let's open up Flash Builder and just drag them over. So let's create a new project. Now there's 2 ways to create a project in Flash Builder. You can go to File, and you can go to New, and from New you can choose a Flex project or a Flex ActionScript project. I'm going to go with a Flex project. That's what we're going to create. But another way to do that, let's cancel out of that, is just to right-click on the white area in the screen in the Package Explorer. And once you right-click there, just go New. This is the way I usually always do it, by the way. And go to Flex Project and choose that. And we'll just call this My Away3d Interaction. Just I-N-T-E-R, okay? Now, if you were going to do an AIR application, you could choose AIR. We're going to stick with a web application. Or if you want to run with PHP or ASP, ColdFusion, JEE, or you could choose one of these, but we're going to just go with none. We'll be working with a PHP application right now. And then when you're done with that, you just come along here and hit Finish, and let's do that. And it creates the application in the SRC folder. So here's the application actually opened up for me. So it creates the application, and it creates a whole bunch of supporting folders for you. And we'll be pretty much creating folders inside the SRC. So what I want to do right now is I actually want to drag over into the SRC folder my Away3d and my .NET packages. So I just drag them over, drop them right in the SRC. And those are copied in. And then I can actually export those and put those on the web for you guys to pull in. And my .NET. Okay, now there's one more thing I need that's going to help a lot, and Away3d has done a great job of putting a bunch of cool examples up of how to run their software. So let's grab some of their examples, bring them right into the Flex project, and in there we can actually use some of our keyboard shortcuts to navigate and figure out how those things were made. So down here, if you go a bit lower, you're going to find examples, and they have Away3d Lite examples, and they have the CS4 examples. Those are the Flash examples. You can run those in Flash if you want, but we want the SRC examples. There they are. And in that you have all that code that we're actually going to be playing with today. We'll be specifically looking at basic interaction objects. Okay, so I'm going to grab all that and just drag it over. So it's pretty cool, easy to do. The great thing about Flex and Flash Builder is you can just grab assets and just drag them right over to your folders. I'm just going to drag the assets folder over into the SRC folder. Let's do that. There's my assets folder. And I'm going to right click here, just create a new folder. And I'm just going to call that folder Old Code. So down here at the bottom there's a new folder. Let me bring that up a little bit so you can see that. Hopefully get that up a little bit so you can see what's going on. Right click, go to folder. There you go. I'm just going to call it Code. Great. And now let's drag all that old code right into that folder. So once again, one of the great aspects of Adobe Flash Builder is you can drag things back and forth from the folders to the desktop. So just drag it right into the code folder. All that's copied, and now we're ready to go. So next time what we're going to do is build your first Away3d application in Flash Builder. Thanks for listening. This was Mike Lively. See you next time.